Hello, everyone. Just wanted to let you know this is episode 2 of the Magreviews Podcast. We did a pretty much initiation slash introduction slash whatever the hell else you want to call it in our first podcast probably about 3 weeks ago. Just to let you guys know who we are, what we're about. I'm Scott, aka Flip. And my partner in crime is Phoenix, a.k.a. John, John, a.k.a.
Come on, man,
Phoenix.
you can't even get it right.
Yeah,
What the hell?
you go by John.
That's right.
That's your alias.
That's my
All
alias. We have no idea who the hell I am, do we?
right. No, we don't. You are the unknown.
It's what happens when we haven't done this shit for 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just to let you guys know who we are in case you missed the first episode. We are pretty much what we consider middle-aged gamers is what MAG stands for. And we are both in the 30-year-old demographic of gamers, but we still try to be as young as we possibly can by playing the hottest and newest games and just pretty much talking about nerd stuff that we've been talking about for years and years and years, and try to associate ourselves with the new gamer of today, but unfortunately we're starting to realize that we're becoming crotchety old men. So it's a lot of banter and complaining on our podcast, but that's okay.
Hey, some of us are getting there quicker than the remainder of us.
Some people like to hear people complain, and that's what we're here to do for you, is we're here to bitch, moan, whine, and pretty much tell you what our problems are just to make your lives a little bit better.
Or something to that effect.
Sure. So with that, we always like to start off the show with, what we've been up to, playing, watching, listening, whatever. And since this has been a pretty hefty delay, I'm going to throw it over to you, Phoenix, or John, however you want to be called. I don't care. And let you pretty much tell us about your past, 3 weeks or so.
3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month. I can't even keep track of it.
Yeah. Tell us why getting old sucks.
Getting old just sucks in general. So does healthcare. Healthcare fucking sucks. But that was a given, and it's just going to get worse. But the reason we've had such a delay is health issues. Getting older. Having children that get sick. Pass along their illnesses to their parental units. Thus, in turn, hospitalizing said parental unit for a gallbladder that decided to go to hell and back on him. So, I've been out with a useless gallbladder and recovering since then.
So, with all this downtime, I'm sure you have lots of games that you had time to play and just, work through and,
I haven't played
go to your
crap. I've been in too much pain and too drugged up to deal with playing any games. Again, this is what happens when you get old. You get worn out, you get tired, you start falling apart, and you're on your way next. So, God forbid that anything else happens to anybody else. But I'm out of useless organs. I've given up my pancreas, or my appendix, and I've given up my gallbladder. So, if I lose anything else, I'm fucked.
Yep, you're out.
I can give up a kidney. I think I'll be okay with that one kidney. I've got some coworkers without one kidneys, and they seem to be okay. So,
yeah, unless you get a donation from anybody but me.
Yeah, there you go. Because yours are useless.
Yeah, maybe you'll start liking Mexican food as much as me. Who knows? Part of me will live inside of you.
Hey, I enjoy my Mexican food. Thank you very much.
That is true.
I will make a run to Ponchos.
Oh yeah, you are my Ponchos buddy. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah.
So, if you haven't been playing any games, well, we've just started picking up Borderlands 2, so we don't need to say that you haven't picked up any games.
Yeah, I've been playing games. There was a couple of hiatus days in there just from being too tired or being in too much pain to deal with anything. But yeah, we've played our handful of games. We've started up our second playthrough on Borderlands 2, and we're obviously still playing with your brother, and that's a bunch of fun. And then we've got Demi-Fiend, who pops in occasionally, who has a bazillion golden keys and drives us nuts with them.
Yes, he was able to get the bug before the bug was fixed, and yeah, he pretty much gives us shitload of nice stuff. Sometimes stuff that we can't even use yet because we're way under leveled compared to him.
You've got how much loot that's level 43 that we can't even touch yet?
Yeah.
I've got at least 10 pieces that I can't get a hold of at all.
Yeah, my vault and my backpack are both combined at 15, so I have 15 items to search through and find out what's good for me and what won't work.
I think I've got like 7 to 10. I've got some commando mods, and I've got what else? A couple of high-level weapons, some grenade mods, some rocket launchers. So
nice.
It kind of is what it is. We'll get there when we get there. But
so, anything that you've watched while you've been incapacitated?
No, not a whole lot. I'm trying to clear off the DVR. It's been busted. So we've got to get that cleaned off. And then, of course, we get into another week of shows. And those all start stacking up. And then
completely understand that.
I don't have time to watch all the crap that I've got because I'm gaming. And if I'm not gaming, I'm trying to catch up on all the crap I've got on my TV. But then we've always got the fun of going back and playing Need for Speed. I don't.
Yeah, we have been playing some Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. That is true.
Yeah.
You've been playing that more than me, actually.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a game that I really enjoyed. I enjoy playing cops and robbers and taking people out. I like going up and trying to go against your speed wall and beating you on a couple of them and then failing on some of the other ones.
Yeah, and that's why I cannot wait for us to get into Need for Speed Most Wanted because... Oh, I didn't want to go ahead and continue. Anything else that you wanted to add before I pretty much take over since I'm going to piggyback off that?
Yeah, segue, it's fine.
Yeah, so, yes, John and I have been playing Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, and yes, it does bring back a lot of memories because this game came out, I believe, 2 years ago, but it still lives up to the hype. And I mean, we picked it up for $5, and if you are able to do the same, we highly recommend it because, like John had said, this is pretty much a... nostalgia fest for us because we actually played all the Need for Speeds way back with, the old Hot Pursuits that they had.
It's because we're old.
Yeah, and I mean, we played these games thinking that these were the best looking graphics ever because, I mean, Need for Speed was the ideal arcade racer at the time. This was before Daytona came out in the arcades and they had those simulators that you could get into the actual NASCAR and play, that one level or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But for them to revitalize and bring out Hot Pursuit was a welcome to us, and for them to be able to add the new abilities with spike strips, and they already had the roadblocks, but the roadblocks are more detailed. As you leveled up, you could put out not just regular cars, but you could put out SUVs and make it even stronger and build up your level on your special abilities. And then also adding EMP is always a fun task, trying to trigger in and
dude, EMPs
lock
are a
on.
bitch.
They are.
I hate EMPs. The only time that I use an EMP is when I'm going up against an AI and they decide to jam me. And once they jam me, I'll go ahead and trigger an EMP on after that.
That's smart because they have a cooldown. Yep.
I fucking hate those things so bad.
I don't blame you.
You got to line it up. You got to stay tracked on target.
That's right.
It's too much damn work. Give me the helicopter, the spike strips, and the roadblocks. I'll take your ass out with that. And I've done that plenty of times.
So yeah, I mean, that's what we've been playing together. That and Borderlands 2, but definitely I played the 60-minute free trial on the PS Plus membership that I still have for about another month of the Need for Speed Most Wanted that just released. Sony was really cool about getting that knocked out there as quick as possible to try to pretty much get your head into the game and make that purchase because Sony's starting to do this new thing where they're doing digital day download. Let me try to say that again. Digital download day one, where the day the game comes out, you have the ability to download your virtual copy straight to your hard drive. And it's a nice feature, kind of like what Steam does for us on our PCs or Origin or all these other game client programs that you can install on your computer and pretty much auto update and it'll take care of you. That's pretty much what Sony's doing, and I think the Xbox 360 is doing as well with their what they call, I believe, games on demand.
Well, you've got one that you're looking at picking up day one from digital download, and that was PS All Stars, right?
I'm not going to pick it up on digital. I'll be buying my copy for that because...
You're going to buy physical disc?
Yes.
Why are you going to buy physical disc?
Because with that physical disc,
Or
I can bring it over to your place, or I can bring it over to a friend's place. I don't have to re-download it on multiple consoles.
You got a point there.
Also, I'm going to get my code as well to redeem it on my PS Vita. I will have a virtual copy, and the sweet thing about it is it's cross-play. So, say that you guys want to borrow my copy of PlayStation All-Stars, well, I can play my Vita version and play against you guys from 2 locations.
Speaking of Vita, you think it's a good buy for Black Friday?
For the time right now, no. And it's nothing against Sony. The reason why I got mine is because I knew that I wasn't going to have to pay for it at all when I traded in all my crap that I had.
Yeah, but that's obviously going to be a given there for you.
I mean, if you could pick it up like you saw in what John's referring to as the Black Friday deals, they have a nice Black Friday deal for $150, I think is what it was. So they knocked $100 off the retail price.
Is that through Walmart?
I think you get a game with it.
I think it came with. I want to say one of the. I'm trying to find the ads here and flip through them to see what I can find, but I thought the ad was going to include one of the Modern Warfare series. I thought.
Oh, that's right. You're right. The declassified Call of Duty Black Ops.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Declassified. Yeah.
Too many war games to keep track of.
I've not heard very many good things about the Declassified. I mean, they briefly showed a gameplay video from the last thing I heard, and not a lot of people were impressed by it. But hey, if you get a free game in the mix and you get it for cheaper than what is a retail copy, I would say if you're paying the same price as a PSP, which is probably about the 120 to 150 range or whatever, in case you buy the game package ones,
yeah,
I would say yeah, they're worth it. This is worth it because it's a 5-inch beautiful screen. The graphics, I mean, when I played the beta for PlayStation All-Stars on both the PS3 and the Vita, they're 1-to-1. And I was really worried about the way that it would look on the Vita, since PlayStation All-Stars is pretty much a Smash Brothers knockoff. So you have to deal with that zoom out, zoom in feature of when you're starting to fight. If you have 2 people on one side of the map and then 2 people on the other side, it's going to be spread out, and you're going to have everybody on the screen. Where when everybody starts coming closer, the screen zooms in so that everybody can get a close-up shot of what's going on. The PS Vita does that, but it does it right. It doesn't zoom out too far where you're seeing these little
specks.
dots. You actually see the detailed models of these characters just like you would on a 60-inch TV or this 5-inch screen.
Yeah, that was kind of one of my concerns too. I mean, you've got that smaller screen, and you don't want to lose the detail. That's the problem.
Right. And that's one thing I really am pushing for with the Vita, is this whole idea that Sony has where you buy the copy of the game, you get 2 copies for free.
That is a pretty
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a $40 game that's how much it retails on the Vita alone, plus a $60 game for $60, of course. And I mean, it's a $100 package for the price of a regular game. I'm not having to buy 2 copies, and they're going to be doing that next year with the new Sly Cooper game. You buy it on the PS3, you get it on the Vita as well. So you can take it with you on the road. Now, what I want to see in the future, which they should have done this year, in my opinion, is Madden. It would be so awesome to be able to take your creative player on the road with you.
Yeah, Madden would be
and
nice.
Level him up, because since I work about an hour and a half away, I can take that on the road and I carpool. So when I'm not the one driving, I can bust it out, level up my character, go home, sync it up to my PS3.
And you're good to go.
I can start where I left off. And the one thing, dude, this would be the selling factor that I've actually thought about. This would be a killer if they would have been able to bring this out. And they kept talking to the developers about this, and they have yet to say no, definitely, that they would not. But think about Borderlands 2.
That would be...
Think about taking that on the road and how much time you would have at work, leveling your character, getting new weapons, new loot,
I'd be
developing
screwed.
that character's... Exactly.
I would not get anything done at work.
And that's where I think people have lost the idea of what a handheld represents. A handheld represents gaming when you're not able to game.
Yeah, and still continuing what it is that you were working on previously.
With the new technology nowadays, yeah, when Game Boy came out, everybody was like, yeah, I want to play just because it's a different type of game. I can play Tetris on here. I've never been able to play a game like Tetris. It did not exist on the Nintendo. And then they got, all these other knockoffs of what was on the Nintendo, but it was still that ability that we could take it on family trips during Christmas time. Whenever I would go up to Kansas, we would all have our Game Boys hooked up to each other, and we could play a two-player match of Tetris.
Yeah.
And that's what it was back then. But with now, and the ease of being able to game at home nowadays, because technology is on the rise and it'll just keep continuing.
Well, that you've got all this cloud base as well.
Exactly,
the
and that's what
fantastic.
Sony just bought. Exactly, and that's what Sony has just bought into as well. One feature that's really nice with my PS Plus game membership is all my games are my game saves are automatically saved to their cloud system. So it gets pushed out to my devices, and I can access it anywhere as long as I have a Wi-Fi connection on my PS Vita. So I know that was a long-winded answer, but yes, I do like the future of where the PS Vita is going. So I would say yes, if you could definitely hook up with that deal, it's definitely worth the price of admission. I mean, the screen's beautiful. You can't go wrong with it. There's many games on the PS Vita that aren't on any other console or handheld that are actually really fun. Sound Shapes is something that'd be right up your alley, where it's electronica music that is from, I think they got stuff from, I want to say Deadmau5 to Daft Punk, and you pretty much create your own track. I wouldn't say it's like DJ Hero style, but it's more touch based on the screen.
So kind of like Guitar Hero.
Right.
Maybe.
In a way. I mean, it's not color-coded or anything like that. I played a brief demo of it, and it looked really fun.
Right.
I just haven't made out the purchase for it. I'm trying to think of another game. Oh, Lumines. Lumines was out on the PS2 a while back, and that's another electronica game, but it's more Tetris-style, puzzle-based, where you pretty much just match colors up, and the tracks change, and it gets harder as you progress. Hot Shots Golf, of course, is really fun.
Always a classic.
I mean, yeah, the library is there. Now, again, one thing that I wish to see, not only on the Vita, but on the next generation of consoles, is digital sales. One of the main reasons why I've gone to be a PC gamer more than a console gamer is the games that I own on my PC are much cheaper than the versions that I have on the PS3.
Yep.
Even to this day,
you've got better
you go to
quality
GameStop,
control.
right? You go to GameStop today. How much are you going to pay for BioShock? You're going to pay $10 to $15, maybe $20. Who knows?
Yeah.
I got both my copies of BioShock for $5 a piece. I got that Sniper V2, Sniper Elite V2 for $24. They're doing that as a day after Thanksgiving sale at Walmart. A $60 game that we got for $25 a couple months after it came out.
Yeah.
That's one thing I definitely want to see. And I even went to the digital sales today on the PSN, and I still just wasn't impressed. I mean, you're talking they're lowering it by $10 here, $5 here, off the regular retail value that it came out day one.
No, you can't do that.
And that's what I want to see. I want to see. You want to compete with Steam. You want to compete with the digital market. Go out there, go do your secret shopping, look around, and then you compete or you match, just like what GameFly is doing, just like with what Origin's doing. Hell, what GameStop is doing. GameStop had a crazy deal today on a game. They did 85% off Serious Sam 3 BFE. 85% off. A game that was $40 retail. I don't know the math in my head, but that leaves it in the single dollar amounts, I believe.
Yeah.
I want to say $9.99 or something. Maybe even cheaper. Who knows? But anyways, that's my point, is you want to bring more gamers into that. Make sure that when you release your game, sure, charge us at $60. You'll have the fan base. They'll come and buy your games. You'll be good. But then 3 months from there, 6 months from there, you want to get a boost in sales? Throw that sucker down 25%. Throw it down 50%. Do a weekend deal like what Steam does.
Yep. you'll
That's why
bring in that extra money.
I'm very curious to see if Steam, since they are in the hardware development stage right now with an unknown project, if they come out with a Steam hardware for the TV, I'm sold.
I would
I'm
jump
done.
on that console.
That'll be day one for me. I will definitely pre-order and get that day one.
But see, here's my only concern about that, though, and don't get me wrong. I mean, Steam makes a fantastic product as it is now, as far as an online service that allows you to purchase and be kind of the central hub, if you will, of all your games. But here's the concern. Your PC you can update. You can go in, you can change out your video card, you can change your hardware, and it's not a big problem. And you can do that as things adapt. But if you go out and you've got like a PS3 or you've got an Xbox, that stuff, you're locked into whatever that technology is at that time. So you're going to have these
but look how long that 360's been around.
Oh, I won't deny that. It's been around for
ages. Hold on. What I mean is, and I've seen some gameplay, but I haven't played it. You're talking about a system that came out during the second term of Bush. That's how long ago this was. That's crazy.
I love that we throw
back
to presidents on this.
Oh, I know. I mean, I don't know the exact. I forgot the exact year. I want to say 2005. I think.
I'm not entirely sure, but I think the fact that you're whipping out presidents is just pure genius.
Well, and it's funny that you brought this up because that was the way that this guy brought it up on Twitter today. He said, "Think about a console that was released during the second term of President Bush."
Yeah. And at the time, I mean, it was absolutely beautiful graphics. It was.
And the way that supposedly Halo 4 looks on this console, the same one with the same hardware. Think about this, though, John. You can have firmware updates.
Yes.
You can have hardware updates. You can do that. Now, I know where you're going, but let me ask you a serious question. How often do you really up the res if it's not already set at the default setting on your PC? They can build something like that in to where they'll know what type of TV that you're running, that they will have that built in when you run that game. It's going to run at that quality.
They could do that. The potential's there.
That's the only change that I make on mine. And I know what you're getting at, this customizability, and that's what you're into. But for a casual gamer that's what I love about Steam. And that's why I hated about PC gaming before Steam. I despised going out and trying to find the right drivers to download for certain games. Because I never knew. I know people are going to be like, well, it's not that hard. You just go to the website, you look for the game, you download it. But for somebody that wasn't too familiar with the computers back then as far as gaming went, I didn't know which one to download that was correct. I didn't know how to extract the files.
I'll give you that because you were a console gamer at that point in time.
Right.
And
that's what I love about
Steam. Yeah, and
Steam Auto.
I think it'll be great. I mean, I would love to see what Steam could come out with and what Valve and everybody else behind this project could come out with. And we know it's going to be Linux-based, so it's going to be open source.
Oh, absolutely, which makes me even more happier if they could put in the OS built into that hardware.
That would be fantastic.
That would be awesome.
And who knows, maybe they could make it so that it's customizable. Maybe you could change out, you could add additional RAM to the unit. Maybe you could go in and you could change out the video card that's being utilized. We don't know. I mean, we don't have enough information as it is. But I'm with you. I would, if they can make a solid product and they can make something that is going to do what we want and allow us, instead of having to build a secondary PC for either downstairs or to connect to our primary TVs, so that we could play, would be great. And if I can bring in all the games that I already own and just install them onto that unit, even better.
And that's where I think that the hardware is going to come into play. I think if they let you modify anything, they'll let you modify the hard drive space in there, or they should.
I would certainly hope so.
Because think about how much games we have right now.
Oh, Lord.
Right, and the PS3 offers that right now.
I filled up a 1 terabyte hard drive with all the games that I've got.
And I've almost filled up a 2, so we're both right there.
It doesn't take that much, not with the size of these games. And
like you brought up a great example with the PS3. You're able to, and that's what's so funny is I actually looked at, because somebody had posted on my Twitter feed, they said if you don't know how to install your laptop hard drive, just open up your Sony PlayStation 3 manual. It walks you through it, and sure enough, I opened the manual. It walks you through how to open their system, which I'm not trying to point out other systems, but they restrict you. They say you take off this pin, you take out this screw, you're violating your warranty on your hardware, and it's going to be null and void.
Yep.
You will never be able to replace it.
Yep.
Whereas Sony says, oh, you want to replace it with a bigger hard drive?
Go ahead.
Here's the type of hard drive you need to have. It's a laptop hard drive. Here's the RPMs that we recommend. Here's how you unhook it.
Yep. And
Easy
and
process.
I enjoyed that about Sony. It was a fantastic process. And I also remember that the fun that we had of going in and actually destroying, if you will, an Xbox hard
360.
drive and installing in a new unit just so that
That
we could get it to
was-
function. I mean, that was
memorable, especially with the tape.
that was a lot of fun. I mean, hey, if you can get it to work and you don't have to pay that extra cost that Microsoft is requiring you to pay, or in some cases Apple for any of their products, then more power to you. I mean, these
Agreed.
companies are making buku bucks off of us for the products that we purchase from them. They know that they've got us by the balls. So any way that we can reduce our costs, why not?
It just blows my mind because I was looking at the PS3 bundles that they have now, and they're charging $250 still for their console, and they're saying, "Oh, but it comes with a 500 gig hard drive," and I'm thinking, how much is a 500 gig hard drive on fries?
Yeah,
How much is a 500 gigabyte hard drive on Newegg?
exactly. How much money?
Talking $80,
Yeah.
$90, and they're saying that the system then without the hard drive is $150. If Sony was smart, you put in a system version without a hard drive.
Exactly. Let somebody go in and just...
You do like what the 360 did,
Yeah,
and
that
that's why
arcade
I had to
version,
upgrade.
yeah.
I was pissed when I picked up my Slim 4 gig, and the only reason why I got the 360 Slim was to play Halo Reach. And then what happens when I get Halo Reach? I plug it in, I do the install, I play the game, and I go, what am I going to do? I want to do a 4-player co-op. I go into multiplayer. Your system does not let you play online if you're a 4 gig model. Now later on, like I think 6 months from then, they put an update in to where 4 gig consoles could, but I was pissed.
Well, you
I mean,
rightfully should.
why are you gonna buy a Halo game and not be able to play online multiplayer?
That's the whole point of Halo.
It's like saying that I want to buy
That'd be
I don't
just
know.
as bad as buying Madden and not playing with multiplayer.
or buying Borderlands and just playing alone. Now there are some people that would play alone, but still, you're gonna get better loot if you play online. You're gonna get a better experience if you play online.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like buying an MMO and not wanting to play online.
Oh, you mean you want to play WoW, but you don't want to play with other people?
No, I want to play Diablo 3 online by myself.
Oh, that's
That's what I want to play online by
There
myself.
you go. Try to
Diablo 3.
Try to take
woohoo.
Diablo down by yourself.
Yeah. Knocked him down.
I took that bitch down. This is how we do this.
So, I mean, that. Not to go off on a rant there, but that was that. Pretty much what I've been playing. Oh, God. Here we go. You ready, John?
I'm ready.
Don't fall
I know
asleep
that
on
you've
me.
been playing a lot of games, so yes.
Do you take your hydrocodone?
Yeah, actually I did. And I've got a beer in hand, so that makes it even better.
All right. So, what I've been playing. Play more XCOM.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Can't wait till other friends of mine can enjoy it once they drop that price.
Amen.
But it's still definitely worth the price of admission. Oh boy. I just borrowed a couple games from a friend of ours, and I borrowed Soul Calibur 5 and Spider-Man Edge of Time. Started playing Soul Calibur 5 and love it. I almost hope that they have a cheap copy because I will definitely pick it up. I've come to the realization that I'm starting to like fighting games.
Well,
And I don't know why. I never
because
really
you played
was
in, an arcade,
into
in
it.
the arcade. Look at Mortal Kombat.
Not a lot. Not really. Dude, in the arcades, the main games that I stuck around was Revolution X by Aerosmith,
Yeah.
House of the Dead, X-Men arcade game, Turtles arcade game. I never really was into the fighting games because I knew I was going to get my ass handed to me.
Well, it doesn't matter if you
I
get your
knew
ass
I was
handed
going
to
to
you or
suck.
not. It's still fun.
Well, yeah, but not when you're going to waste 50 cents or later on $1.
I'll agree with
When
you.
I could play and last a lot longer in X-Men or, God, Revolution X. That brings back a lot of memories. I forgot about that Aerosmith
That
game.
is
That was so much fun.
Old school right there, my friend.
That and T2 Judgment Day.
Yeah.
God. Anyways, wish they'd bring back arcades, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But I've started to like fighting games a lot more. I don't know if it's just the graphics, the controls, being able to play the AI, and play at the difficulty that I know that I can kick its ass on. And no offense to you or our friend JD,
But then
but
kick our asses as well.
I mean, you guys do
Yes.
put up a good fight once you learn the controls. And I'm not gonna lie, playing Marvel vs.
I
Capcom.
hate learning combinations.
Well, and that's why you can be a button mash and still actually almost win.
Your simple mode versus.
Yes, my simple versus normal.
Oh, hell no to that.
So I've been playing that. But anyway, also, I totally forgot that they added Ezio as a playable fighter in Soul Calibur 5, which is a very nice addition.
Did they really?
Yes, and he is a quick, agile. Now, one thing I don't like about him, and anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, he's the only fighter that uses a ranged weapon, and I do not like that.
I think it's fantastic.
He shouldn't be able to shoot in a melee game.
I would.
This is pure melee base. This isn't like your Mortal Kombat where you can throw a spear or shoot through your eye or, throw size or anything like that. You can't. You're not able to throw anything. It's all melee based. And so I'm like, how cheap is that? All I have to do is shoot the sucker, and there they go. So, I mean, but it's a good game. I mean, the graphics are great. I love the story. I played through, I'm at chapter 16, I want to say, of the story. I don't know how many there are total, but it's actually pretty neat. And it's kind of like the way Mortal Kombat did its story, where it's pretty much a tutorial to teach you each character's unique moves and their combos and all that. So I've been playing that. Picked up Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 because I was on my fighting game binge and I could get it for real cheap. So went ahead and went to my GameStop, picked it up for $20, and I forgot how much they've added to that game compared to the first one that I wasted my $60 on, and that pissed me off for so long against Capcom. I forgot that they've pretty much revamped the way that the game looks. There's a new new game menu. There's new levels, of course. There's new characters, 12 of them. I wouldn't say it's there with the Marvel vs. Capcom 2, because Marvel vs. Capcom 2 had, I want to say, close to 60, and there's only 48 now. But it's getting there, and I'm going to be pissed as all get out if they announce a new version next year. Super Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 with 8 new fighters.
Oh, you know it's
and I'm going to be pissed. I know, and that's what, I mean, they've released, I think, 3 or 4 versions of Street Fighter 4, so it's not going to surprise me if they do.
This is true.
Trying to think, what else have I been playing? Let me go to my Steam real quick. Oh, Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Now, anybody that's friends with me on Facebook knows that I was posting quite a bit about it, because I am definitely obsessed with The Walking Dead, as well as other shows on AMC such as Breaking Bad and Mad Men. And I used to be about Hell on Wheels and The Killing, which actually got canceled, unfortunately, but it wasn't too bad. But Walking Dead to me is pretty much coming up there on beating Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad's still going to be there because I will hate to see it leave next year, and I've gotten you to become obsessed with it as well as our friends. But The Walking Dead has struck me personally just because of the emotion and the acting, and I had the first 2 volumes of the comic, and I think it's a great new way of explaining how to survive in the post-apocalyptic zombie world. We've seen zombie games all over the place recently in zombie modes, and gotta have a zombie here. It wouldn't be a game if you didn't add a zombie. And so when The Walking Dead came out, it actually kind of revitalized that, and it wasn't all about, it's a military virus, or, we got to stab it through the head only. That's the only way. We got to just kill them all.
Yeah.
It was, this has the true emotion of what it's like to survive with no food, with no antibiotics, with no place to safely sleep at night, and it's going to tear you down. And anyways, the game itself is by Telltale, which never really was into, and I know that you were. You love the Penny Arcade. And I know that they were always teamed up with them when they would do their comic, and forgot what else they've done. But they also did Back to the Future recently, which was during the Back to the Future 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
And I played the demo for that. Wasn't really into it, just because it was just point and click, and he didn't really make decisions, and he just went through the motions and solved puzzles here and there, and that was about it. With The Walking Dead, it's broken up into episodes, and each episode takes about roughly 2 hours to go through. I'm sure you could get it done in a short amount of time if you just skip through everything, but the way that they got these voice actors to play these roles and the way that the game plays out itself, I mean, you play as this guy, Lee, who, when the game starts out, you're in the backseat of a cop car. And you got this white sheriff in southern Georgia who's talking to you like you're in the 60s. Yeah, boy. And he's just trying to get to know you. And you have no idea what your character has done, why he's in the back seat, why is he handcuffed. You just know you're going to prison. And you're just driving along. All of a sudden, Walker pops out, of course, as a Walker would.
Mm-hmm.
Right in front of the car, and he hits it, goes into a car wreck. And pretty much as you would expect, cop dies. And it all starts from there. You're handcuffed. You need to get the keys. Keys are in the cop. You got to go over. It's point and click, of course, with the WASD controls to move up, down, left, right. And of course, what happens to him, he turns into a zombie, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to go too much into detail, but...
It's the usual.
Right. I mean, that's how it starts. I mean, you got to know when you're talking Walking Dead, they've got to introduce the zombie, and then you have to have that freak out moment that you're like, what the hell? What are you? Why are you back from the dead? Blah, blah, blah. And, you have to play shocked.
Yeah.
And even though 90% of the people that are playing the game are be like, all right, yeah. It's still great to see these actors and the way that they can voice this and actually show that emotion in the way that Telltale does the animation with the mouth movement and the eyebrows and the shifting of it almost, I would not compare the graphics to this level, but the way that the characters look at you is like in L.A. Noire. You have to read them, and that's the thing that I love about the game. Later on, and I'm not going to give anything away, I'm not going to spoil it or anything like that. I'm through episode 2. I'm starting episode 3, so I'm not even caught up yet. But you have to make tough decisions, and your decisions will affect what happens later on in the game, whether it be in the next episode, whether it be later on in that same episode. Your characters that you come in contact with will remember you, and they will remember what you said, and they're going to take it personally.
But that's a good thing.
It is a very good thing. It makes you almost think, well, what if I would have picked this? And then you actually have the option to rewind if you want to change your mind and you want to change the way that you chose.
So it's like
now, I'm not doing that.
So you can actually rewind back as if it never even happened.
Correct.
I'm not sure I'm a fan of that idea.
I'm not doing that. I can see why people would. It's just like with the Choose Your Adventure books, John.
I remember that.
How many times did you say? How many times did you peek on
you
page
turn ahead 32? To the page, see what happens, and you go, I want to do that.
Exactly. So you rewind. Same rule applies here. So I'm not doing that. I don't want to. I want to see how this game plays out, or this. I wouldn't even call it a game.
Story.
It's like watching a show.
There you go.
It's a very long episode, and it's really nice to hear the feedback that the fans have given it and how they've actually started talking about that they're going to make this seasonal, and they might actually start working on season 2 with new characters, which I would be totally into. It's $24.99. I picked it up for $14.99. I would say if you could get it for $14, it is definitely worth it. If you could even get it for cheaper, it is absolutely worth it. Even if you're not a fan. I mean, you gotta just get past the whole zombie thing. There's a lot more than just, hey, how can I kill this zombie? Oh, I could take an axe pick or an ice pick and stuck it through its head, or I could take a screwdriver and shove it through its eyeball. I mean, it's more than that. you're wanting to decide who you want to be friends with and who you don't. Who is the asshole who's not going to protect you, and who's the one that's going to get your back no matter what. And you see that, especially when one of the characters that I've been trying to be friends with for so long, he goes on a mission with me. We go into a pharmacy, grab some goods. He sees a door fall on me with zombies all over on top of me, and he looks at me. And when I saw him turn his back to the door like he was going to leave before he actually came over to me, I was like, oh, hell no.
Were you ready to shoot him?
I was ticked. And I even called him out on it afterwards. I said, real nice, what was the problem? And he was like, what, man? You had it. No, I didn't. I almost got eaten. I almost got bit. There was 4 zombies on top of me, and I had to get every ounce of energy to keep hitting that Q button. That's what I love about these quick time events. You have to tap the Q button so much. It hurts. That damn key's going to fall off. I know it.
I have a feeling that might happen.
So anyways, I wanted to spend time talking about that because that's been the biggest shock to me from all the games that I've played this week and the past weeks. I mean, this is the one that's hit me personally more than anything else. And it's nice to see. I want something. I've been waiting for a game to grab me emotionally. Now with Borderlands 2, I could say that that's a great game, but it's just so damn funny, and it's a great co-op experience. But I haven't really played that single-player game that's actually got a hold of me and made me want to sit by myself and listen to this story and just love every minute of it.
Yeah.
And that's why I've been missing. So that's pretty much what I've been playing. TV, of course. I've been watching Walking Dead. Actually watched some 30 for 30s. I'm loving the ESPN documentaries. They've done a really good one. Actually, last week when they had Halloween, they did a really controversial one on Ole Miss back in the 60s when they had their first black student come and they were trying to segregate the schools. And it's a lot of hate. I couldn't believe what I was hearing and seeing and what they did. And they actually had to have the military come out and camp on the campus because of all the stuff that was going on.
Yeah, we weren't even
never
there,
knew about
that. That was a bad time.
Yeah, I never knew about that college. But then the whole story's about that football team going undefeated that entire season. And that football team was trying to bring the city to something else that was known as evil and, nothing but wrong. And nobody wanted to go there. And they were trying to make the football team, the program, bring students in.
Yep.
So, watch that. Saw Wreck-It Ralph.
Good.
Loved it.
I was about to say, I'm sure there was
I've
a lot
already told you,
about.
I'm not going to give away too much. I do not want to give you all of the classic video game references, but
I think we see enough of those just through the trailer.
No.
Many more.
The trailer does give you a lot. I will not deny that. But if you are keen and you pay attention, you find so much more. I'm surprised.
So would it be creepy if I was the only male there that didn't have a child? Would that be an ill-advised trip to take?
Funny that you brought that up.
So don't go see that in 2 or 3 weeks when I actually turn a year older. Don't do that on my day off.
Well, just to let you know, it was really creepy because when we did go, I went with my wife and I went with my son, and then I went with my nephew and my mom. There was a creepy old guy that was sitting right next to my wife, and he pretty much resembled the signs of either a mentally handicapped person or a pedo, because my wife had told me that there was times where she would look over and it really looked like he was reaching for his crotch.
That's a problem.
And very much so.
Okay, so we won't be making that trip.
Yeah, don't make the trip.
We'll go ahead and refrain from that at this stage.
I know you would go with good intent. That's what my wife was trying to tell me. She kept saying, I knew that could have been a guy like you that was just really into video games and he was going there, but the sounds that he was making and the stuff that he was doing, I knew that he had other things in mind that had nothing to do with it.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, hey, we live in this type of world, man. Can't do anything about it, unfortunately.
No.
I mean, you can, but whatever. Ain't gonna be nothing done.
That's called call the
But anyways,
cops.
anybody, and that's that's what I love about this. Let me take a drink real quick.
Alcohol or otherwise?
Otherwise, you're supposed to give me
Because I've got a
in
beer
between
in hand
music.
right now, and I'm loving every minute of it.
So, anyways, I love the movie. Probably loved it more than my son. My son's 4. He liked it, of course, just because the colors and everything, blah blah blah. I mean, he still liked the bad guys, and he liked the shooting.
Well, of course,
that they
he's
had
at
in it
that
from,
age.
Sure. Anything that dies and blows up, he
Of course.
loves, which is awesome.
He's a 4-year-old boy. It's what happens.
Teach him young, soldier. Anyways,
Hmm.
so any guy or girl that's around our age that really wants to relive their childhood and wants to pretty much see everything that they grew up on, and I mean almost everything. Of course, somebody's going to be like, well, they didn't show this. Well, they can't get everything, and you need to know that. But the stuff that they show, it makes you feel warm inside, and it makes me wish for 2 things. And I don't even think it'll happen, but hey, anybody can hope, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're all about. Hope. I hope, number 1, that kids today respect games in the past, and they actually want to go out there and research and learn about these games that created the games that they play today. There's a lot of great old school games that still exist that they show in this movie, which I was happy to see. That's my first thing I want. I don't think it will happen because kids, I see it in my son, and when I try to play on my Nintendo or I try to play on my Super Nintendo, he gets bored real quick.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have
And
all the
I understand
emphasis
that, 'cause
that all the new flashy, fancy games have.
And I get it. But this really goes out, I think, to the middle school and high school if they went to see this movie, which I hope they do if they're really a gamer and they went with a bunch of their friends. Do the research. Talk your parents into going onto eBay and finding you a cheap $20 Nintendo, or go to Amazon or whatever. Pick up some of these games in FX or whatever thrift store you could find old Nintendo games. Learn about the history, because that's where all this came from. None of these games would exist. You ask any game designer, game developer, what made you want to become a gamer?
Old Nintendo
If any of them
games.
tell you, if any of them tell you, well, I like art and I like.
Now, see, I could give the graphic artists kind of their own separate
Graphic,
thing. But of
no,
course,
no, no,
yeah,
I'm
you're
talking-
still gonna have that
I'm
driving.
talking game designers. I'm talking game developers.
Yeah.
Graphic artists are they're told what to design, but who creates those designs?
This is true, but you've got to think about it though, because a graphic artist, they'll be given a generalized concept of what needs to be, but then they get to really
Sure.
design what it actually.
But where does that
is.
idea come from? Where does the idea that they're given come from, though? The director.
Right, you could say,
the
okay,
lead
I need this
designer.
person to look.
Sure.
They need to have this sort of a body style to them, or they need to have this sort of whatever.
And it's got to come from these gamers that grew up and they started thinking. I mean, man, you remember summers where we would play a game and we'd actually talk about games that we'd want to create.
Yeah, and never did.
Dude, I remember. I know this is pre 9/11, but we played Grand Theft Auto, and I thought, how cool would it be if they actually had a mini game or whatever, where you'd actually have to walk through an airport, board a plane with a weapon or something, and not get caught, and they'd have like in Hitman, where they had that little meter that would go up if you were suspicious.
Yeah.
Well, they would have the same kind of meter when you're being interrogated. I know it's a horrible idea.
Yeah, at this stage, that would not be a very good concept at all.
Oh, come on, man. They have worse stuff now. You know it.
Yeah, they really do.
Picking up hookers, killing them. God, what kind of world do we live in?
A fucked up
But
one.
anyways, yeah, that's the first thing I want to see. The second thing I want to see is, and I know this will never happen because I thought it would happen after watching Tron Legacy, is the coming, I don't even know if that's a word, but anyways, the bringing back of the arcades.
Oh, the resurgence, yeah.
I would love to see arcades come back. I miss that more than anything else. And especially being a person, and I know it's a sorry thing to say, but especially being a person that's able to drink now, how awesome would it be to just grab a bunch of buddies, actually buddies that you know in real life, not ones that you meet online, and go and you just have a great night and you just put your quarters on the machine. I got next. Give me a beer, drink, play games, and just that interaction, the human interaction that all these kids are missing.
Well, I think the closest that we can get to...
angers me so much.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it just angers me so much that we live in such... I love the digital age that we're in. Don't get me wrong. But with every pro, there is a con, and I hate that gamers today don't ever get together. They all play online. Let me add you to my friends list. You want to get on 7 o'clock? My son will never be playing online.
Oh, there'll be a point
because
in time where he does.
No. He will never play online unless he can afford it himself. Because, number one, the language on there alone.
Well, when you get the 10-year-olds that are playing on there cursing up a storm and calling you a mother.
And that's the thing that ticks me off is these parents that probably were never gamers, that were the popular kids in school that like to boink each other and get drunk and high and whatever. They don't care what their own kids play. And they'll just buy the damn game and let them say whatever the hell they want. As long as they're distracted and mommy and daddy can do whatever, who cares? That's their own free babysitter.
Hey, mommy, look, Modern Warfare 3 came out. Will you buy it for me? Sure, here you go.
And then I'll yell curse words online and call everybody and say your mother and say you're a faggot and say whatever.
Yeah, I've heard some words that at that age I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Dude, I didn't even know what a pussy was.
Yeah.
And I knew what a vagina was. I never knew what a pussy was. When I was called that for the first time, I was like, "You calling me a cat?"
Right.
What? So anyways, I hate online. I don't play online with anybody unless it is you. It is people that I know personally.
Yeah, there has to be that.
I don't play random multiplayer games online anymore unless I don't have to hear them. I'll play a round of BF3. I'll play a round of MW3 if I don't have to hear them. And I hit that mute button.
Just quiet.
Now people are going to say, well, you could do that with your kid. Well, sure. But then what's the point of playing when you don't hear that, hey, man, hit, and you get, I mean, we never cussed each other out that bad.
No.
When we would get together and play GoldenEye. We would get angry. We would throw the controller down. Your brother would be jumping up in the air like a freaking lunatic.
Mm-hmm.
But we had Bomberman. Good God.
Oh, God, how much I hated that game.
Oh, we had to duct tape the dang floor to get that.
There was a love-hate relationship with that game
God.
and my brother and you and everybody else that we played with.
Think about that. I would not have those memories if it wasn't for me being there. I can't see what I hear. I want to be able to, and that's why just to make it short, I wish arcades would come back. I was so ticked when they closed the GameWorks here.
Well, you know, the closest thing that we've got now is that Barcadia place that's over in Lower Greenville.
And we need to go. We definitely need to set up a date. We need to go. We need to check it out, and I think we need to come back and just give a review of it or talk about it or something like that, because I would love to go see that.
Yeah, hell, maybe we'll hit it up here in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Birthday's coming up. Might as well.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
Hey, why not? Let's go just get drunk one night and play video games.
There you go. So, that's Wreck-It Ralph. I mean, it brought back so many memories. And the acting's great. You've got Sarah Silverman, and she's hilarious. You've got, oh God, who else?
I can't even tell you who was in that thing.
Bill, what's his name? John C. Reilly.
Okay.
And I don't really know many other people. Oh, Jane Lynch from Glee. She's in it. And she's pretty funny. Now, warning. I don't think any kid will really understand it, but there are a few jokes in there that you're like, whoa.
Very adult related.
Yes, very. That's what my wife and I started talking about too. Is We're starting to understand jokes that we never knew happened when we were kids.
Now, see, that I completely believe. But that all, of course,
And I
comes
liked
with
it.
age.
I mean, yeah. And that's what's so cool. But anyways, if you're a gamer and you like the game, go see the movie. You will not lose your money. You will. It's an enjoyable ride. It's short. It's only a little over an hour and a half. You get what you need out of it. And on that note, that's pretty much all that I've done.
That sounds about right for about 4 weeks of not being able to get on here and get this thing worked out and going. So
Exactly. So, I will say this. I'm looking at the next week's releases. You'll be happy to know, John, that Lego Lord of the Rings will be out.
I just picked up all those Lego games over on Amazon's digital deal.
Yes, if anybody's interested, Amazon's running a deal, and I don't know if anybody will hear this that cares, but $13.99 will get you Lego Harry Potter 1 through 7. That's 1 through 4 and 5 through 7. And you get Lego Batman 2 that just came out a few months ago for $13.99.
Yep.
Talking
15, 14 with
80%
tax
off.
or something like that.
Talking 80% off. Normal price of all three of those will be $70.
Yeah. It was a good deal.
And Lego Lord of the Rings will be $49.99.
I may wait on that
And they're
one.
also coming out with the Assassin's Creed Ezio trilogy. And then the next week after that, we have Hitman Absolution, which I'm kind of interested in. I've always been a Hitman fan, yet I have never beat one of those games. Just because they get old.
That's funny.
But the game that God, I think I'm going to have to wait till Christmas is PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale that comes out the week after. And I don't know if this is accurate, but that Family Guy game, Back to the Multiverse, is supposed to come out. I thought that got pushed out, but then again, I could be wrong. So anyways, one thing I want to do before we go is I want to do a discussion on a future podcast about our game of the year. And I know that we haven't played that many games this year, but we need to go back, and I think we definitely need to look, because there's quite a few games that came out that I think we missed.
I would agree to that. But I've got some pretty close calls on what I'd already call game of the year for myself. But it's still technically too early to draw on that.
Well, absolutely, especially with the next month that we have and the games that we've yet to play.
Yeah.
Go ahead and talk about something for a minute while I look something up.
I have no idea what the hell's on my mind. It's just been more work, and more work. And healing.
Running through the list, let's see if there's anything. Darkness 2, which I've played. These are just some that I'm picking out of the bunch just to see what our thoughts would be if they would be up for Game of the Year. Twisted Metal.
Yeah, that was one that you picked up.
Rayman Origins. No, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Oh, that was on the Vita, never mind. Hey, John, Microsoft Flight.
Oh, God. Let's not get into that one.
Oh, yeah, Mass Effect 3. God, how could I forget that? Journey.
Yeah, that was one that you picked up.
Absolutely.
And you loved it.
Yes.
See, and I don't think I've picked up as many games as you have. At least not this year.
You did eventually pick up Darkness 2, didn't you?
I believe so.
You've got that in your
yeah,
check
go
your
look at my
queue.
queue to see what I've got out
Walking Dead, of course, came out this year. Starhawk came out this year. Diablo 3.
there. Yeah.
Max Payne 3.
What the hell? Oh, that
Ghost
was
Recon Future Soldier, which we both have yet to play.
Let me load my GameFly client. I hate having too many damn clients out there.
Nice.
Put it all into Steam.
Whee!
That's what I wish we could do.
Oh,
look, there's an update to it.
Oh, what's
Fuck
new?
This.
Oh, yeah, it's the pro version or whatever.
Yeah, now that it's not in beta anymore.
I know, we're probably just talking and everybody's just on the edge of their seat waiting for me. Oh, XCOM definitely is going to be in my top list. Hey, your 007 Legends.
I'd still like to get my hands on that and play it.
Halo 4, which I'm contemplating on picking up possibly this weekend.
Are you going to get it this early? I thought you were going to wait until the price dropped on it.
Contemplating.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to, why not?
I know. I almost want to say I'll make that my Christmas.
That'd just be the last purchase that you end up making.
For the 360,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I mean, that's about all the games. So, anyways, be thinking of that. We're going to try to also get a Facebook wall up so that you guys can post to it. We can post to it. We can do like a Q&A or something later on once we get more popular, but we got to get figured out how to get ourselves on iTunes. So, hope you guys enjoy it. This is our episode 2. You could find either of us on Twitter. I'm at Flip, FL1P42. And John is at Phoenix, PH03. Is it just 42?
NIX42.
Okay, so PH03, NIX42. And who knows, we'll try to get some more ways to contact us. So, again, hope you guys like this episode. If you have any requests or anything like that, let us know. And we'll talk to you later. Take it easy.
Bye.